All right, welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're doing something a little different. We're cracking open a self-help classic from all the way back in 1991, and we're asking a pretty big question. Could its super intense, pre-internet advice actually be the secret weapon we've been missing to fight the burnout and distraction of our world right now?
I mean, let's be real. If you've ever picked up your phone just to check one little thing and then an hour later you look up from some random social media rabbit hole, you know exactly what this feels like. It's this constant draining fight for our own attention against, well, a tidal wave of digital noise.
So where are we going to look for a solution? Well, we're turning to a pretty unexpected place. A book written before the first iPhone even existed, way before algorithms were being designed to hook us. And that's the big question, right? Does this voice from the past have anything useful to say about the problems we're facing today?
So the whole promise of this book, the core idea, is that every single one of us has this massive, untapped potential, this giant, just sleeping inside. But here's the problem. Most of us were never given the instruction manual. We don't know how to wake it up or how to actually, take control of our own minds.
Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, the book lays out what you could basically call an operating system for human behavior. And the idea is, if you can just understand this system, you can start consciously directing it instead of just letting it run your life on autopilot. And you know what? It all boils down to something incredibly simple. The author, Tony Robbins, argues that every single thing we do, everything, is driven by one of two forces. Either we're trying to avoid pain or we're trying to gain pleasure. That's it. That's the entire engine.
And this leads to the core technique in the book, which has this kind of sci-fi name, neuroassociative conditioning. But look, don't let the name intimidate you. It's really just about hijacking those two forces we just talked about. If you want to kill a bad habit, you figure out how to link massive pain to it in your mind. And if you want to build a good one, you link incredible, overwhelming pleasure to it, until that new behavior just becomes automatic.
And here's the practical blueprint for making all that change happen. It's not about just hoping for the best. It's a really simple 4-step feedback loop. Step 1, decide exactly what you want. Step 2, take massive action toward it. Step 3, pay close attention to what's working and what's not. And step 4, keep changing your approach until you get what you want. You just run that cycle over and over again.
Okay, so that's the system. It sounds pretty powerful, right? But this is where we get to the real heart of the matter. Does this advice still work? I mean, could a mindset forged in the 1990s really stand up to the unique, crazy pressures of the world we live in today?
And this really is the main event, isn't it? Can massive action from 1991 really beat a notification algorithm that was literally designed yesterday in Silicon Valley to hijack your brain? You've got this idea of pure individual willpower on one side, and on the other, you have technology that is scientifically engineered to bypass our willpower altogether. So, who wins that fight?
So this is where we see how it all plays out. And maybe, just maybe, the principles themselves aren't outdated. Maybe they just need a modern translation. Like back in '91, taking massive action might have meant making 100 phone calls. Today, the most massive action you can possibly take might be as simple and, let's be honest, as difficult as just putting your phone in another room for 1 hour.
And look, it's a totally fair question to ask. While these tools can be powerful, you have to wonder if the book's relentless, no-excuses kind of intensity really fits with our modern understanding of burnout, the importance of rest, and all the systemic forces that are actually at play. So how do you actually use this stuff without just, burning yourself out? The book suggests you don't have to focus on everything at once. Instead, you just focus on 3 core decisions. The argument is that these are like the master levers you're always pulling to shape your experience, whether you even realize you're doing it or not. And this quote, this is really the heart of the entire philosophy. It is in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. It's this radical call to take ownership. It's saying that your life isn't shaped by what happens to you, but by the decisions you consistently make in response to what happens to you. So waking up that giant inside you, it's not about some huge one-time heroic effort. It's about consciously mastering these 3 specific decisions moment by moment, day by day.
So what are they? Okay, number 1, what are you going to focus on? Right? In any situation, you can focus on what's wrong or you can focus on what you can do about it. That's your choice. Number 2, what does this mean to you? Is a setback a sign that you're a failure or is it just useful feedback? You get to decide the meaning. And finally, number 3, based on those first 2, what are you going to do about it?
When you boil it all down, The real takeaway here isn't about following one specific person or guru. It's about recognizing that the core tools, things like self-awareness, intentionality, conscious choice, those things are timeless. They're available for any of us to pick up and use.
And that brings us right to the end and leaves us with one last question to make all of this real. So forget about next year, forget about tomorrow. Based on everything we've just talked about, what is the one thing you will decide to consciously focus on right now?